Hello, I'm Mr. P with Mr. Dave and Mr. Jethro. We are the Geeky Guys. Well, it's New Year's Eve. What a year it's been. So we're going to just look back very briefly over what's happened this year, if we can remember. I think so much has happened. A little bit, we're going to forward project into next year, what we hope is coming from a geeky point of view. All whilst trying to give the dog plenty of fuss, because he keeps running around here wanting lots of fuss, which is always quite cool. Yes, we're talking about you. So this year, just slightly non-geeky, just big events. The King was coronated.
Yeah, that's right.
Here in the UK, so we have a king, not a queen. That's slightly weird.
Yeah. It's not very, getting used to.
It's not very often we sing the national anthem, but now if we do, it's king, not queen. It was it this year? It was announced. We had James Gunn took over the DC universe with Superman with that last year. This year. Yeah. There's certainly been a lot about it this year. And we're still in a position at the moment where we really don't know much about it, except we now know who's Superman, and we know a little bit more about casting. We know nothing about the suit.
No.
We have been assured, despite this year having actor and writer strikes over in the US predominantly, that it's still on track for a 2025 release, if I'm right on that.
Yeah, that's right. July 2025, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's good that that's still going ahead. Like you say, a lot of projects this year have been cancelled, delayed, in part or completely due to the strikes. But you know, they'll get all this stuff will come out eventually. You know.
Well, one of the big things about the strike, well, one of the things about the strikes was the use of AI.
Yeah, of course.
Artificial intelligence, and it's an interesting point because you can make AI versions of people online, and they have no control over it. Well, they didn't, especially in acting, have any control over that, and that's a little bit naughty. You know?
Yeah, it's a bit of a dark, dangerous thing, really. That isn't it? When you can kind of make out that somebody's been on a video saying things and making statements when it's not them, and then how do you prove it afterwards? You have to go through the whole rigmarole of doing forensic detective work on the video footage and breaking it all down and looking at metadata and things like that.
There's a lot of actors who, when playing a character, say, I know when I leave the role, I want the character to die because I don't want anyone else to do it afterwards. Well, now you can take actors that have passed away and make these AI versions. Let's just take the Flash movie. So you had Christopher Reeve as a young...
Helen Slater.
Slater as the young Supergirl in there as well. As CG versions. Not exactly AI, but it's a similar sort of thing we're talking about here in terms of portrayal on screen. Now, what are your thoughts on, not so much Helen Slater, but excuse me, Christopher Reeve being in that film? I loved the cameo. I thought it was amazing and lovely, and it did nothing to tarnish his reputation as Superman.
No. And I think it is kind of, in that way you talk about it, it depends on how tastefully done it is, if the right motivation is behind using it. I think for that sort of thing it's kind of acceptable, but I think, there has been the worry that people are going to be used without their permission and for all sorts of things and not get the money that they're due and,
Talking money, I'm going to say something a little bit controversial.
Oh dear.
I'm not going to talk about what we talked about in rehearsals. Just talking money. You said the motivation for using things like AI or CGI actors in films and things. The motivation behind making any film is money. Profit. That's a radical statement to make. You take any blockbuster now, and if it's not made 60 trillion at the box office, it's failed. That's what that's what the studios think. Because I love a lot of the film people, producers, actors, story writers. I love them all, and I love some of the film studios for some of the stuff they've done. But at the end of the day, they're all money grubbing people who just want more money all the time. That's just a matter of fact. And if they don't get billions and billions gross at the box office, it's a failure. No, it's not. You're only judging it on a monetary value of if you make a film and you say, well, actually, we don't care what money it makes, we just want fans to be happy, and you judge it on surveys afterwards, then you can say that's a successful film based on that.
So you're basing it on artistic value,
Well,
among other things.
if you make a film and you say, the studio says, look, we need to make our money back from it, right? But we're not actually going to base how successful it is on money. We're going to base how successful it is on the people that actually come to watch it, all have to fill out a survey and they have to tell us what they think. And if they liked it, that's how successful it is.
True, but they can't pay their shareholders in audience appreciation.
That's the problem.
I refer you to my previous point. It is all about money.
Yeah, it costs money to make,
And-
and you hear about they're happy-ish if they break even, very happy if they make profit, and if they lose, then.
So this leads me into this point of, if you're going to make AI or CGI versions of people just to put them in films, you're doing it to get more people in to watch it, so more people will spend money and you get more money at the end. But never mind, the
And
point is...
sometimes it doesn't always work as well, does it? Because you could get like a film that a lot of people end up liking, but it doesn't particularly do well at the box office.
No, and this is
so
my
people
point.
can be tarnished that they've been involved in a project that's been a failure, but suddenly 3 years down the line and
you say failure.
DVD, Blu-ray sales,
But people liked
streaming.
it. It's just that for whatever reason at that time, it might have been up against a different film. It might have been that the socio-economic position that people found themselves
people
in
struggling to afford to go
were
to the
not
cinema.
that they could go to the cinema. So you've got a really great film that people really loved. For me, that's a success. It just didn't make them a load of gross at the box office. And I think that, I don't know, look, let's just take the, was it this year or last year? The Flash, not The Flash, Batgirl.
Yeah.
It was nearly there. They was going to put it out, but then they decided at the last minute to pull the entire lot.
Is that because of tax reasons?
I don't know, but they just did not release the film at all.
Oh, they've done that with so many things. There was
And I was so disappointed because it was looking really good.
Yeah, I'd like to have seen it.
what was that one recently? There was another one recently that they decided just no, we're not going to show it.
Man of Steel 2?
No,
Is it too soon? I will keep going on about that.
it was something to do with Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner.
All right, I don't know.
There was a film that was going to be made about that, and it was almost there. Then they're like, you know what, not going to bother.
And this is why.
Because of tax reasons, because they can write it off as like, well, yeah, we didn't end up finishing that, so all this money we spent, we can write it off and put it against our tax that we owe, which is just, I hate that. And
you know, welcome to New Year's Eve. We're celebrating everything great. It's lovely. We hope you're enjoying this wonderful celebration of things that happened this week.
Celebrating everything that went wrong in this past year. Yeah, we hope it'll be better than the next one.
so what went right this year?
Wow. There's,
Well, there's and
we've had
the
news about Doctor Who coming back under RTD and Murray Gold.
we have
We've had obviously Loki season 2 has been received very well.
yes.
That's done a lot better than a lot of the people close to it were expecting. Because there's been quite a few misses with like the DC and Marvel shows just lately. It's dipped a bit, but Loki seems to have lifted it back up again.
Strange New Worlds
Yeah.
is coming
Strange New
back
Worlds.
next year. They've gone back to production again after the strikes, and we are getting the next series. What did we think? I know we've talked Picard. We'll probably do another video about Strange New Worlds in more detail, but the musical episode, let's just talk about that a second. Did we enjoy the musical episode of Strange New Worlds?
I think it's always the same with those type of ones where it's just thrown in there randomly. It's a little bit jarring in a way. It's a little bit fun in a way. It's kind of nice to change things up and freshen it up and just go a little bit off centre for a second.
It's very diplomatic, Dave. Did you enjoy it?
Not my favourite episode of Strange New Worlds.
Okay, so I can
was
absolutely tell you they're both wrong. I loved it.
And I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'm glad it exists.
Yeah, so am I. I didn't think I was going to like it. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You go back to shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They did Once More with Feeling, and I enjoyed that one too. But this is the thing. I don't really like musicals that much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't normally go to the cinema to watch a musical. I'm not really a big musical fan. But the one episode chucked in, solid gold. And I mean, on Buffy, there were clearly some really good singers and clearly some that weren't as good. You go to Strange New Worlds, and I think the ones that weren't as good were still slightly better. No offense to the cast of Buffy. I mean, let's not even talk about Pierce Brosnan singing on Mamma Mia. Let's put that right to the side. And now a word about our sponsor. Are you looking to take your business or idea online? Then Namespace has you covered. From personal websites, e-commerce, and fully managed IT services, see what Namespace can do for you today at namespace.rocks. But Strange New Worlds, I loved that musical episode. I thought it was brilliant, and it's never really been done in Star Trek before.
And it's kind of using the other talents that some of the actors have got, isn't it, as well, which you wouldn't normally get to use in a series like that.
Yeah, Celia Rose Gooding and Christina Chong.
Christina Chong, who, have both recorded music. Christina Chong's had an album out that's been doing pretty well. It was good that they got to use those talents and for the Star Trek crowd to, get to see that.
And I love it when big franchises take risks.
Do you know what I want to see?
What?
I want to see. Now, we sometimes say this, Dave, don't we, in the past, and it's happened. So just by sheer dumb luck, we've said, we'd like to see this happen. I'd like to see this. I'd like to see an episode of Strange New Worlds where they come into the real world, our universe, and Strange New Worlds is a Star Trek TV show. And you've got the actual, a bit like Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
So you've got like the actors come into our universe and they can, and a bit like Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. I want to see that with Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Because they did it on Supernatural as well, didn't they? When they came into it and,
But Dean looks out over the all the Impalas and they're a bit rubbish and he's like, I think I'm going to be sick.
Yeah.
What's a padalecki?
Didn't that happen with Doctor Who? In Remembrance of the Daleks.
Not that I'm aware of.
It was a Sylvester McCoy one. It was set in 1963, in November 1963, and you see they're in a lounge and the TV's playing in the corner, and it comes up with the announcement just before the first episode of Doctor Who airs, and it says, "Now on BBC One, our new drama." And then it cuts to the next scene.
That was probably done as a bit of an in-joke, I would say. I wouldn't say that was a proper thing. I think the closest thing you ever got to it becoming real world was we just a week or so ago did our Christmas episode where we wished everyone a Merry Christmas. I think the closest, William Hartnell, one Christmas, broke the fourth wall, spoke to the audience directly after the episode and wished them a Merry Christmas.
In the Feast of Stephen.
And I think that's the closest you're probably going to get to that kind of thing happening.
Right, okay.
But
I mean, in terms of other good things we've had this year, obviously the Marvels movies come out that we're still yet to watch. We've had, obviously, Miss Marvel has finished its run on TV. That did really well.
Let's just quickly talk Ahsoka. I know we've done a series of videos on Ahsoka. Star Wars really batting it out the park with stuff this year.
Well, with that and Andor.
Yeah, and Kenobi.
I
think that was a little bit not maybe received how they wanted it to by some fans. I think Ahsoka corrected any mistakes in that regard.
The Book of Boba Fett as well.
Sorry?
Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Season 3 this year?
They've just done so many Star Wars things and the quality's not dropped. That's the thing. And as we go into next year, we've got more shows coming.
Yes,
we've got to continue the story of Ahsoka, whether it will be in another Ahsoka series or whether they'll do something as a mix or match or whether that will just be answered in the next Mandalorian. We don't know.
Yeah, so of course we've got the Acolyte coming next year.
Yeah.
New Star Wars series.
The Star Wars Celebration panel was very vague about how that's going to move forward, obviously. So we'll see what happens in the new year. Lots of stuff we're hoping to be not leaked but released regarding the new Superman project with James Gunn as they start to go into production of that. That's going to be interesting. Just as a quick look here, Dave, you prepared a list earlier for us. There's quite a lot happening in terms of films. The new Ghostbusters, we've seen the trailer for.
Frozen
that
Empire.
Looks epic, going back to New York. That's going to be great. The prequel Transformers 1 animated project. I'm picking the ones out that I'm really looking forward to. Deadpool 3.
Yeah, with Hugh Jackman, of course,
China.
returning as Wolverine.
Oh, they've been doing lots of publicity for that, haven't they?
Oh, yes, just a little.
Yeah. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I watched the first two and rather enjoyed them. And if someone else was going to really enjoy watching that. TV shows, Daredevil. Be interesting to see what they do with Daredevil.
Yeah, I've heard a bit of a rumour that it's going to feel slightly different to the original series we had before.
I imagine they're going to wrap it more within the MCU for that.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, there's certainly some ones I think Mr. Jethro is going to be looking forward to as well. The new Alien project, coming out in the summer with a group of people coming across this life form and having all the usual sorts of problems. So that's going to be interesting.
Just leave them alone.
Yeah, just don't get near them.
Stop bugging them and prodding them with sticks.
It's the Doctor Who line from the David Tennant episode, isn't it? Is it Doomsday? Army of Ghosts or Doomsday? He's like, oh, we found a crack in time. Should we leave it alone? No, let's make it bigger.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
There's Furiosa as well, which is going to be the 5th Mad Max film, which is following the character Furiosa from Fury Road, which looking forward to that because all the Mad Max films are quite different from each other.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be refreshing just to see that. What's George Miller going to do with this one? Because he's directed them all up until now, so that's,
We've got June Part 2 as well that was delayed from the end of this year, is now going to be next year. It's going to be really good. That was a big success last year, so it's going to be nice to see the second part of that. We've got the 3rd Venom movie. We've also got another couple of Spider-Man.
That's going to be interesting as well, actually, because the whole MCU has changed somewhat. The heroes that we had, Captain America, Iron Man have gone. There keeps being rumours about RDJ coming back. We don't know.
No.
But he's now got to fit into this world somewhere where the Marvels are part of the main group now, I would imagine, going forward. I don't really know. I don't really follow the comics too much with it. I know a lot of it, some of it mirrors the comics.
Yeah.
And
we've got some new Spider-Man content as well. We've got Freshman Year, which is kind of, they're going to go over the time before Peter Parker puts on the Spider-Man outfit. So it's in that kind of time when he's just had the spider bite and before he starts fighting crime. We've got the second Joker film as well with Joaquin Phoenix. Did you watch the first one?
I never watched it. I've watched clips, trailers, and it didn't jump out at me.
No, it felt very arty.
I'm not really going to judge it because Jethro will get annoyed with me for trying to judge it without watching it. And then he'll do what he did with Stargate and he'll force me to watch it.
I haven't seen Joker yet, but I really want to. It looks like one of the types of films I would like.
He'll get me to watch it like I did that Blade Runner rubbish.
We still need
to talk about that.
We do.
Get to watch 2049.
Yeah.
We've got a new Godzilla. We've got a Spider-Man spin-off film as well with one of the old Spider-Man villains, Kraven the Hunter. We're going to have a movie, so that's going to be interesting. A new Karate Kid. If we've not had
is this a complete reboot?
Complete reboot again. Yes, another reboot Karate Kid.
When was the last one?
They did one with Will Smith's daughter in, didn't they? And I think they've done one after that as well. And then they've obviously had the Cobra Kai Netflix series as well. So another Karate Kid. We've also got a new Lord of the Rings. Warner Brothers are pushing out some new Lord of the Rings content. There's supposed to be some new films coming out, set in the same sort of time as the Rings of Power and the original 3 Lord of the Rings films. So that's going to be interesting to see what they do with that.
We'll continue with this list in a minute, Dave, because I think it's time to put our brains together.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, quiz time, is
and
it?
battle in quiz time.
Right.
This is part of the normal run. I know the Christmas one we just did a week or so
We need
ago.
a jingle for that, really. Don't
We need a jingle. Quiz time.
Geeky Guys' favourite.
So myself and Mr. Dave have this challenge between ourselves where we're going to answer questions. No, you can't answer them. And whoever wins at the end of the series will get a reward. And whoever doesn't, whoever loses, will have to do a forfeit. I know it's coming now. We're doing it now. So we're going to go straight to the quiz. Let's see how it goes.
Question number 1. In what year did the first Batman comic get published?
1941.
Incorrect.
Boys, oh,
1939.
Correct.
oh, I thought it was 40 or 41.
No, 39.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be checking that afterwards.
Right, question number 2. How many films are there in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as of recording?
12.
12? No.
It's got to be more than 12. What more? No! Oh my God! Oh, that's cheating. I saw that look in his face. Is it not more than 12?
I was wondering what you're going to say. That's the look I was having. I was wondering what you're going to go.
Oh.
Go on, say it.
Well, you've already answered, so I can think out loud a minute, can't I?
Yeah.
So you've got like you've got all the actual Avengers have had separate films. Then you've had like at least 3 or 4 Avengers films altogether. But then we've also had the Guardians, or at least 3 films of those. I'm going to say it's got to be more. So I'm just going to go slightly higher than you because then I'm covered. So I'll go 14.
33.
Whoa! A lot more.
Nearly, for not 14, right? 33.
Yeah,
What-
that's
I
a
mean,
lot.
that's just ridiculous. Are you counting all the original, the other Hulks and everything on that?
Everything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Ah, okay, so okay, fair enough. That's a lot.
Okay. Right, question number 3. What was the first Marvel film?
I don't know, so I'm going to.
Oh, lovely.
Well, Marvel's been going for quite some time. Bear in mind, so I'm just assuming it's not one of the ones that we're thinking of now, like in the MCU or anything like that. But it's probably one of those people, but back then. So I'm just going to go for Hulk.
Incorrect.
I don't know. It's got to be an old film.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Fantastic Four.
Incorrect. The answer was Howard the Duck.
Yeah,
That was released in 1986, I believe.
yeah. Do always forget about that one.
Howard the Duck.
Question number 4. Name the original series episode that first introduced the Romulans.
Balance of Terror.
Correct.
I had to redeem myself with a Star Trek question. It's not a Star Trek question.
Question number 5. Which Batman film had the highest global box office?
Dark Knight Rises.
Correct.
Nice one.
Question number 6. Which Batman film has the highest domestic box office?
I'm almost going to copy him, but not quite. It's got to be one of the Christian Bale ones, surely. Let's go with Batman Begins.
Incorrect. It was The Dark Knight.
Ah, I knew it was going to be one of the other two. It had to be.
Question number 7. What is the name of Jean-Luc Picard's brother?
Renee.
Incorrect.
No. That's why I paused. That's the nephew. It's
Damn it. Yeah.
Pierre.
Incorrect.
Ah,
It's Robert or Robert.
Robert, not Pierre. Pierre, Robert. Oh, I was close. On the tip of my tongue.
Question number 8. Cisco's father lives in what city?
New Orleans.
Correct. Question number 9. Where was Predator 2 set?
Sorry, that's not a Star Trek question. So, Dave, over to you.
Los Angeles.
Correct.
Probably could have guessed that, to be fair. It was either going to be that or Vancouver, wasn't it? It probably was shot in Vancouver, but set in Los Angeles anyway.
All right, and question number 10. Bear in mind, both of you on 3 points.
Ooh, oh.
Donald Pleasance played as Blofeld in which Bond film?
I reckon it's a trick question. I reckon it's not going to... Oh, no, I'm thinking of that wrong, aren't I? It's going to be...
Come on, you buzz, you have to answer now.
I think it's the Roger Moore one, isn't it? Is it Live and Let Die?
Incorrect.
View to a Kill.
Incorrect. It was actually, because we're on a tie, it was back to you.
Oh, I can guess again.
I'd rather this not end on a tie.
No.
This will end up fight to the death if it needs
Oh, crikey. I'm going to go through all the films now that I've got Blofeld in. See, I don't even know the actor, which is really bad. I'm just trying to think of one that he wouldn't. I reckon Jethro will try and trick us. So I don't know why. I don't know. Moonraker.
No.
Moonraker is one with the helicopter at the beginning. Picks Blofeld up on the...
No, that was For Your Eyes Only.
Oh. Dave, you're not going to be able to guess that one. If you guess that one, it's going to be wrong because he just told you what it is. Unless he's doing a double bluff and that is it. And he's saying it just because he thinks you're not going to guess it.
You're overthinking it.
I know!
You only live twice?
Correct.
Ah!
Right.
It wasn't even Roger Moore at all. Well, a few things to say here. First of all, congratulations, Mr. Dave. You're the winner on that one. 4-3. Yeah.
Wow.
And it counts this time.
And it counts this
Yeah.
time.
So you got two quizzes each that you both won.
So we're even Stevens at the minute.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be very fun going into 2024. We all know how exciting it's going to be now, don't we?
Yes, we'll see what happens from here and see what that does to the graph.
There's a graph?
There might be. Might be later. Never know.
We normally do a feature called Geeky Guys Favourites each video. However, because it's a New Year's special, what we're going to do is we're not going to do a Geeky Guys favourite. We're going to come up with a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Or we're going to talk about them if you don't want to come up with one. So have a think about what you might have as your New Year's resolution for this year. And we'll
Yes,
see.
and also before that, don't you need to correct Mr. Jethro on a particular
Yes,
question?
thank you, I do.
Have I got something wrong?
Well,
It's
to be
been known to
fair,
happen.
we both got something wrong.
Yes, during the break, he went onto the internet and he found a problem.
So in the quiz that we've just seen, there was a question. Now, I got it wrong. The question was, what was the question?
The question was, when was the first Batman comic released?
There we go, thank you. And I said 1941. And in my mind, I was thinking either 1940 or 1941. I wasn't sure which one. Okay?
Ow, ow.
And there's your punishment, Mr. Jethro.
Oh, ow. Right, the
So-
soft bits.
Right, soft bits. I've got plenty of soft bits now. It's not good. So it was 1940 or 1941. I couldn't remember which one. I said 41 because I was trying to rush. And it was 1940.
Yeah.
However, Mr. Jethro said... Sorry,
The first
Mr.
appearance
Dave
of Batman
was
in
correct, and it
comics.
was 1939. And I said, no. And you were trying to be clever, because on the wall behind me is, in fact, the cover of the first appearance of Batman, which is Detective Comics number 27, which was in 1939. You're absolutely right. However, Batman number 1 came out in 1940.
Yes, it did.
So actually, although I technically was wrong, I got the answer wrong. The question, your answer was wrong as well.
Yeah. So we're both wrong.
So you'd kind of asked the wrong question, I suppose, technically there. Either way, what happened was Mr. Dave got the answer that you had down on your sheet. So he got awarded the point. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm happy about that. But you know what? Because it's over the festive period still, I'm going to let it go.
Going to let it fly.
And I'm only going to let it go because I actually got the answer wrong. Had I have
Yeah.
said no, it was 1940, I would have insisted that I got the point. But because
you would.
I said 1941 because I was rushing and I couldn't remember which 40 it was, we'll let it go. But there you go. Sorry. Yes. You see, we are not infallible. Believe me, if I got the viewers out there to point out all the mistakes I made, we'd be here all day.
Yeah, it's not the first time mistakes have been made on the internet.
No.
This is very true.
No. But there we go. So yeah, so New Year's resolutions. We're going to come back to New Year's resolutions later on. We are quickly talking, we were running through what was coming out next year. There are loads. I don't think we really need to keep going through tons and tons and tons.
I do think there's a couple that we should mention.
Go on then. What have you got?
There's the Penguin series, which is going to be very interesting, which is in the universe of the new Matthew Reeves, the Batman.
Yeah.
So it could be played by the same actor again.
So is this a prequel to what when we see him in the film? I assume people have seen the film by now.
Yeah.
Because the Penguin, am I right in saying the Penguin is in Arkham right at the end? in the cell.
Yes, I think it's. I assume it's a prequel.
Yeah. So it's how he got there.
So we're going to see more of Colin Farrell's Penguin, which is going to be interesting. We've got the season 5 of Stranger Things, which has been very popular
You
over the
guys
last
love
few years.
Stranger Things. I never got into it.
And yeah,
I haven't
it's,
seen it.
Oh no, it's not yours, Dave. You watched it.
yeah, I've watched it. It's very.
What am I thinking of? Oh, it's all good.
It's kind of like
You always it since I've seen it.
I know. I keep saying that, don't I?
It's kind of like supernatural family adventure with a bit of horror, with a lot of 80s nostalgia. I'm sure you'd probably like it if you watched it.
I'd probably like the 80s nostalgia.
Yeah. Next one is something that you will like.
Okay.
We've got Wednesday season 2.
Oh, of
with,
course. Why did I
General
not mention
Ortega.
Wednesday, of course.
Wednesday Addams again.
We were actually, this is rather funny, we actually contemplated doing the Wednesday dance on TikTok when it came out, didn't we? We actually said, should we do, I don't think you were involved at the time, Jethro, we actually said, shall we learn the whole Wednesday dance and do it on TikTok as a
No, he
dance?
said, no, it'd be
should.
too silly.
You should.
We should still do it.
You should.
We should, right,
You should.
okay. Just me.
You should.
Just me. I've got
Yeah.
to, look, if I get lots of comments from people, I will learn it and I will do it, but I don't think I will. So.
We'll see. And the one that Mr.
Oh, I've
Jethro
just realised
is going
now,
to be...
you're going to pull this out as a short and put it out, aren't you? So I get lots of comments.
More likely.
Asking you
What's
shall
into
receive.
that one?
I didn't ask.
Obviously, the one that Mr. Jethro is really going to like is Blade Runner 2099,
Yeah.
That rubbish again.
which is going to be...
Sorry,
gonna be
I'm
good.
joking.
So I don't know how much of the previous movie is going to be brought into that series. Probably not a
Well,
lot.
considering it's like 50 years into the future,
but might be
and
referenced potentially.
possibly, I mean, a few key events there, but
I can't see Decker still being alive.
he hasn't seen 2049.
Oh, well, I'm just saying generally in the Blade Runner universe, at that point you can't necessarily see Decker still being alive.
That we
But,
don't
you
have
know,
the 4-year
could be a
lifespan
hologram.
anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but then again, like production-wise, that it was going to be filmed in Belfast, but then they pulled out. Production hasn't started, so
it might not get made. I mean, we
it
talked
might
about
not
this
get
earlier with
made.
production
It might
companies,
not get released in 2024. It might be released in 2025.
which is the same year as Superman, which we're all looking forward to.
Yes, but we've
And the
got
new
these-
Batman too, as well,
The new Batman, which
in 2025. Sorry.
we're hoping is coming out October 2025 still, if it's not been delayed. But obviously we've got Creature Commandos, which is one of the first James Gunn, Peter Safran projects that we're going to see next year. So that'll be interesting to see what that's like.
Also, we're looking forward to something else happening is the Bell Riots, which are going to happen. Do you know what time of the year it's going to happen?
I forgot the date, actually. For those people that don't know
August.
what you're talking about, and in case Dave's forgotten, because occasionally with slight references like this to Star Trek, because there's so much of it.
Calm down, boy.
So the Bell Riots were in an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where they go back in the past and Captain Sisko, or Commander at the time, is he Captain or Commander at the time? I forget.
Commander
Sisko. It takes on this, but he pretends to be Bell, and he ends
Gabriel
up
Bell, yeah.
Gabriel Bell, and ends up in the database as Gabriel Bell, and you see his face. Because there's a funny line, isn't there, where Quark or someone, Rom is looking at, he's going to the academy on the Little Green Men episode,
yeah.
and they're looking at a pad, and he says, "Doesn't these things look like Commander Sisko?" And he's like, "Oh, humans look the same to me." But yeah, so you go back in the past and have to correct a mistake that gets made. It's a bit Quantum Leapish, really. And then obviously then they come back to you.
That just reminds me of saying that's another good thing we've had back this year. Quantum Leap came back
It did,
as well.
and it's it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
they've kind of been faithful enough to the previous series and to the previous characters that it's kind of gone quite well, been quite warmly received, I think.
And Ernie Hudson is back, and his character is the same character from the original show. In the original show, Sam Beckett leaps into Ernie Hudson's character.
Magic, yeah.
Magic, his name is, yeah. No, it wasn't Magic, we're just saying his name is Magic.
No.
And Magic is now back, and he has vague memories, like remnants of memory of what Sam did in his body, even though
like
it
dreams,
wasn't there.
aren't they?
Yeah. It's nice to have that connection, because there's always that, well, what happens from their point of view?
Yeah.
So it's nice that we kind of get to know
Get an
that
idea that some of that is still left there, yeah.
It's going to be a good year, I think, for being geeky.
I think so.
And if you live in the UK and you're a Star Trek fan, obviously Destination Trek is back.
Yes, it is.
Up in Blackpool.
Blackpool this time, yeah.
was it Birmingham this year?
Where was it this?
Yeah, it was
Birmingham Metropole. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, which you'll see our comments on our YouTube channel. We made a couple of little videos about it, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Oh, of course we went for the day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sorry, my mind's gone mushy today.
Oh.
And while we're still on Star Trek, we mustn't forget that we had Star Trek Prodigy died and came back, saved by Netflix. So we've got the chance to watch season 1 again now.
Can I just batter the networks again? So Paramount.
Oh, another tax break. Here we are. Call back
Paramount
time.
Plus. We're going to bring all the Star Trek together in one place. It's going to be amazing.
Paramount
What about
Plus.
Prodigy? No, we don't want to put that in there, so we're just not going to bother. I mean, what a pile
when
of...
they'd already done quite a bit of production on season 2 already.
Yeah, and it was really good. I mean, we've spoke to some of the EPs and writer of Prodigy. They were really lovely, and I think the job they've done with it is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it's something just for kids. It is a kids show to bring kids in.
Yeah.
We watched it. To be honest, we're still big kids. We loved it.
And it's continuing the Voyager and the Chakotay character as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Starfleet of that time, it's kind of continuing their story, which is really good to see.
They had done a lot of work on series 2. We might just point out, but they just decided not to put it out, and then they took off series 1. But the good people at Netflix have picked this up.
And the fan outrage, hashtag Prodigy and all that.
Prodigy.
And I've taken a few of these comments. No,
yeah. But yes, good. So I think pretty much just around now you can watch season 1 on Netflix and
Christmas
sometime.
Day it would have come out.
Yeah, and then next year sometime we'll have season 2 dropping.
Robert Picardo's going to reprise his role.
Reprise his role, yeah.
That's going to be amazing. We've had a little time to think about it.
Right.
Okay. New Year's resolutions. Okay. What are we thinking? Have we? Did you make any this last year? Just thinking about it.
No, because I know I won't keep them.
Does that give me a bit of a clue as to what your answer is going to be?
No.
Oh, you have made one.
Yeah.
What you're thinking
I've
about?
set the bar very low for me.
Okay, go on then, Jethro. Start us off. What's your sort of New Year's resolution or goal or whatever for this?
I need to watch at least one film I haven't seen before every week because I've been very lacking in that. So my sort of like viewing palette is stagnated a bit. I need to expand and like watch more new stuff. Well, at least new to me. But yeah,
that's a good one. I like it, Mr. Dave.
Yeah, I think mine is. It's not necessarily geeky or all that exciting, but I think sort of improving kind of job wise. Moving into a more senior role, earning some more money, and hopefully that'll move towards being able to travel a bit more and things like that. So that'd be quite nice. So I suppose that's one of them. And obviously, like Jethro said, it's obviously always nice to watch more stuff and things you've not seen before or you've missed. So that'd be in there as well, definitely.
Yeah, I can drink to that. It's yours.
Well, I'm not going to actually make a resolution as such. For your reason exactly, I don't keep to them.
Oh dear.
Oh, go on, there you go. This doesn't happen on the Jonathan Ross show, does it? Whose idea was it to pick black tops? I think it was mine. So I don't normally make resolutions because, just like you said, I don't keep to them. I think last year I said, right, I'm going to be more healthy this year. Certainly the latter half of this year. We start New Year's Eve, aren't we? So this latter half of this year, I have my eating habits have declined somewhat. It's the food is not as good.
It's just very easy, isn't it?
Yeah, my alcohol intake has gone up, which it needs to come down. So I think as we go into next year, it's not so much a resolution, but it's just I would like to start to eat a bit more healthily, just become a little bit fitter.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, and I don't want lots of letters because I'm not very happy.
Oh, bless you.
But I would like to be a little happier as I go into next year.
Okay.
Just raise that up a little bit. That's not to say I'm not terribly unhappy. Not terribly, you know what I'm saying.
Room for improvement.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that happiness is to do with the way I interpret what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and I think that happiness is within here, not necessarily, you know. Does that make sense?
So
I
it's
think
the
I
sort of
probably
thing that
am.
you have to work on, but it's a process. Than
Yeah,
sort of-
I am happy. I just need to realise that I'm happy. I think a little bit more sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
I can drink to that as well.
Yeah, or in post, if you're looking at this and you think, I'm not really sure what he's talking about, we'll just say, yeah, my New Year's resolution for next year is to read more books. So,
Or you could just make a really, really, really easy one and just go, I'm going to drink a bit too much, I'm going to eat a bit of too much crappy food this year. And then this time next year, we can go, yeah, I did all of it.
Nailed it.
Unless you make the resolution, and then it's like, well, I can't do it now.
And then maybe get reverse psychology, and it goes into where resolutions normally go and disappears and doesn't happen. So suddenly it has the desired effect, and you don't intend it, but you actually do start eating.
I must admit,
1,000 IQ there.
I must admit, when I just joked about reading a book there, I have started reading Patrick Stewart's new book, Making It So.
Make it so.
And it's very, very good. And I must admit, I would like to read a little more. That is actually an honest one. I've got a book that I've been reading, The Host by Stephanie Meyer. And I've had this book on the go for about 4 years and I've still not got through it. And that is not because the book is bad. It's because I'm rubbish at spending time, and sitting down and actually
relaxing
reading.
and reading a book.
I just fill my time with everything else and I don't get time to just sit and relax. It's normally when I go on holidays, I read, and I've not had chance. I've not been out of the UK since 2018. So I've not really had a chance to go abroad, sit and read. I am going abroad.
New Year's resolution: have more holidays.
Yes, I like it.
Drink to that.
Wait.
Well, I think, to be honest, we've kind of covered where we've been. We've kind of covered where we're going. In terms of the Geeky Guys now, we are going to take just a very, very small break through January.
And then Showpod will return.
And then we will be back, sometime in February. Thank you so much for watching and listening.
You still are.
And we do appreciate it. And if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe. You can find all of our content at geekyguys.co.uk. Don't forget to follow our socials to find out what we're up to. And all three of us will be back. Any last words, Mr. Dave, to end out 2023?
I think the only thing to say at this point is Happy New Year. Hope everybody has a good one. And we'll catch up with you upon our return.
Mr. Jethro.
So say we all.
We'll catch you later.